Yeah, I think it's recording there, top left.
Perfect. And I've lost my question list now.
Yeah, you've gone very quiet now.
I've gone quiet now.
I can hear you, yeah.
Sorry, where is the... here we go. There they are. It's really frustrating because normally you'd have like someone in a studio and be able to do it all professionally, but because of this, it's like, yeah, just do it over Zoom. It's with my kind of OCD, it frustrates me so much not being able to do it
Are you
properly.
jumping between screens and everything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So just for the purpose of the recording, could you just please introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about what you do?
Yeah, cool. So my name's Chris Brown. I am currently based in London in the UK, although I do have a quite strong South African accent. I currently work for the company Rainbow Technologies, and I'm heavily involved in the automation space with AI. And we've launched a number of products into the NHS space, KYC with banking, but there's a whole lot of opportunity there within the in the automation space. Besides that, I'm also I'm a keen runner, keen cyclist, and really focus on the endurance side where I try and push long distances or long workouts.
Awesome.
That's a little bit about me.
So is it with the running that you do, is it like competitively or is it just to keep fit?
Yeah, well, it depends if you consider parkrun competitive or not on the weekend. But no, it's not that competitive. I have done one or two marathons, but I've never really competed on track and field or competed competitively. But yeah, I am heavily involved. Tried to do the parkrun every Saturday, and would pair that with the odd half marathon and full marathon when it was back in the normal days when things were allowed.
Oh, so the park runs are kind of stopped now.
Yeah, yeah. Since the very first lockdown, parkrun has been called to a halt. When I talk about parkrun, I mean the actual event,
Yeah. Mhm.
parkrun. Yeah. So those haven't happened for about a year now. But yeah, I still do the odd outrun on my own through the boroughs and through the streets, and uh, sometimes a combination of both on the road or on track where it can get a bit muddy and messy.
That's really interesting that they didn't switch it digital. I guess it's
Yeah,
because you could have done it and kept like recording your times in an app or something like that. That's quite surprising that they
yeah. Actually, very good point.
and missed a trick.
Yeah, it's just everyone would have to do it um, independently on their
Yeah.
own. And I don't know, yeah, how they'd measure the 5 kilometer distance. Like I know the park, they've actually measured our 5Ks. But I don't know. It depends how accurate their GPS settings are, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
Um,
room for an opportunity there, definitely.
so what was the kind of problem that you were trying to or resolve? What kind of happened that led you to needing physio?
Yeah, it's weird. I haven't really had any injuries um, up until I came into contact with you guys. Prior to Reflex, I used to run quite excessively. I did a large number of miles each week and never ever really had any issues. The only issues I'd have would be a bit of stiffness maybe in the calves or in the hamstrings. But then on one run, back end of 2020, I actually was running and all of a sudden my knee just absolutely just buckled on me. It just had no confidence in it whatsoever. So what brought me to you guys was essentially a very hectic knee injury, something that I had never experienced before.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
And how did you hear about the Reflex solution? What
Yeah.
how did you come across it?
Yeah, good question. And it's actually due to your, I actually came across you guys on LinkedIn. I saw a LinkedIn post, Carrie's, I believe it was. And because we cover the same space, we cover healthcare and automation. It must have come up on my feed, but I clicked the link, and it was at a stage where you weren't really able to go out and see a physio face to face. So the online aspect to Reflex really appealed to me. I sent through a message to Carries, I believe it was, and from there I was impressed by the product and thought I'd give it a go.
Yeah, definitely. So kind of touching on that, what was your kind of experience like with the Reflex product? How did it kind of help you and like recover from your injury?
Yeah, sure. So my injury, I wasn't able to. I went from doing like 60 kilometers a week at least of running to absolutely no running whatsoever. Even a walk was painful. And what really appealed to me about Reflex was the fact that I could I could essentially build up my strength without having to go and see a physio face to face. Just the flexibility of the app, the fact that it was 24-hour support. For someone who had never had any injuries prior, I was very unaware of what I should be doing and what treatments I should be following. And because I couldn't see anyone face to face, I thought that Denton and Reflex provided a 24-hour support where I could ask questions, very interactive and very flexible to my schedules too, which was very, very nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds great. Um, were there any previous solutions you tried before? Obviously, I know it was quite a quick turnaround in terms of when you did your injury to
Yeah.
maybe coming across us, but were there any other solutions that you thought about trying previous
Yeah.
to?
Yeah, when it comes to other solutions, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is go and see a physio. I thought about that, but I had heard from a family member that prices were expensive and it hadn't resulted in anything. They weren't able to see that physio frequently enough to make a difference. So I scrapped that. And then from there, there was also uh, just on my own personal research I did online. I saw that I had to rest it, so I actually took 2 weeks off completely to uh, do absolutely nothing. I sat on the couch, watched telly, watched Netflix, and did absolutely nothing. And then after that 2 week period, when I was still feeling pain in my knee, then I thought, no, it's time to see a specialist and see someone. And the fact that you guys provided a digital solution on demand where I could interact in real time, that really made me go ahead with you guys, and I saw a lot of value in that.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds great.
Mm.
So how did you find, obviously, you're young yourself, how did you find like working the solution and
Yeah,
adapting to kind of how it worked?
yeah, sure. So it was all very new to me, as I'm sure it is to everyone. But the solution, yeah, very user friendly. We had our introductory call. You showed me how to put the sensors on. They paired up with the app very nicely. It was all seamless, and I got away with it. The first exercises were shared with me. I gave it a try. Very user friendly. It recognized my movement in my knee, my it recognized everything I was doing in real time, and I couldn't complain. When it comes to the exercises themselves, we started off uh, as a tester. We started off very like low level, and what was really nice is we're able to ramp up those exercises as we went. So as I was getting more and more comfortable as my knee was strengthening, I was able to then up those exercises, not only number of reps, but also the angles and flexibility. And that was really nice to see that progress right through.
Was there anything that kind of like surprised you or exceeded your expectations? Because it's such a new, it was brand new to me when I came across it and used it, and I was like, wow, this is completely different in a sense to normal physio in some respects.
Yeah, I was just so impressed by the accuracy of the sensors. It was honestly in real time. I couldn't fault it. So that was one thing that really stood out to me. I was very impressed at how the sensors were picking up the movement so accurately. One thing I also really liked is that the phone, the app, it was able to when I was holding a position, the app actually showed you that you were holding that position. It was very interactive and easy to read, even from a distance. Very clear and the app was like very clear and like easy to work with while you were doing your exercise. It didn't put you off. The counting starts off by saying like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But instead of getting annoying or repetitive, it actually then just goes to a beep for the rest of the session. And I found that really like it's those personal touches that were really nice. So it was really like tailored to someone who is really working hard and getting back to where they should be. And I really like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really, really great to hear.
Mm.
Knowing that I kind of noticed that when I was doing it, that
Yeah.
if you were to have that counting all the time, that it would be quite repetitive
Yeah.
or kind of demotivating in some way because
Yeah.
but the ticking keeps it a nice little flow to the exercise that you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And also just those little like sounds it makes when you actually reach the target of like, let's say you need to bend your knee to 45 degrees, and when you hit 45 degrees it actually does a little beep, and that's also a great little touch. It
Yeah,
keeps you motivated to finish the workout.
that's awesome. Um, so kind of thinking about other people in your position, what would you kind of tell someone considering using the Reflex solution?
Yeah, sure. I would definitely say if you're a busy person with not much time on your hands and you really want to try and overcome an injury on your own, Reflex is the way to do it. It's so flexible to your own schedule. And that was one thing I thought I was annoying you guys because I was doing exercises at like 8 in the morning and then 10 p.m. at night. Um, but just to have that flexibility, because not every day is the same, as we know. That is one thing I definitely say shone through. I would also mention to people that Reflex allows you to have that 24/7 connection with your physio. It's not often you can go to someone for an hour session, perhaps in a traditional sense, and right from that 1 hour slot, understand exactly what's wrong with your injury. There's nothing more satisfying than going for a long run or finishing a very hard workout and getting a message from the team at Denton saying that asking you how your exercise went and whether they should actually customize their workouts as you're going. That was just so tailored to my specific needs, and that was really cool.
That's awesome. It's so great to hear that
Yeah.
kind of the work that, because obviously when you're providing the support or providing the service, it's like, okay, yeah, that's just natural, and that's what we expect to do. But knowing that it has such an impact on patients and then people like it in your position is obviously
Yeah.
really, really valuable for us to hear. Just kind of reflecting on the process a bit. Was there anything that we could have done differently? Because obviously we're always looking to enhance and improve our service, and enhance the app and improve the app so it's more tailored to patients' needs. If there's any feedback you have in that aspect, please, yeah, we'd love to hear.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. And what I would say is the service was great as a standpoint. So the fact that I'd finished my workouts and then was still given the option to have an interactive chat feature, that was really that really stood out, and it shows that you guys are there not only to sell a service but to also be with the customer after their injuries and have that ongoing support and guidance. Um, what was really good is you also provided me with exercises that weren't necessarily focused to my injury. What I mean is, um, I had a knee injury, but I was still provided with core exercises to do and other exercises that could enhance me getting back to where I needed to be. So that personal touch was really, really cool. One thing I would say is it was very difficult to do any other exercise because you are so focused. And because the app is so good and you're so focused on getting your injury back to normal, um, it was actually like very difficult to do any other exercise where I don't have that monitoring piece or the sensors involved. Um, so one thing I would say is if you guys could try and add some other injuries, that would be really nice. When it comes to strengthening your core, back, arms, that would be great too. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, no, that's
But
amazing.
yeah, it was really good service. The apps is new, but you can't tell it's new. That it's very interactive. Software is clean and easy to work with, and it all came together pretty well. And I'm back to a stage where my knee is at about 95%, and I'm comfortable to go for a run and go for a ride. So yeah, I must just say thank you for that.
No, of course, no, thank you. It's what we're here to do, is to help people like you and yourself to get back to where you should be in the best possible condition.
Yeah,
So that is completely our duty in a sense. So
yeah.
I'm just going to stop the recording there.